Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Wahawk Sports Corner. My name is Jake Melcher. I'll be your host this year. Today is episode 1 of the 25-26 school year. Today I am here with Malachi Hickey and Tucker Satterley, the DN duo. To start off with, tomorrow night is your home opener against East. What are you guys in expectations for tomorrow's game? What are you guys hoping for?
Just itchy. I'm ready. Well, we've been spent all summer practicing, running plays, practicing, and lifting for this. So, we made the preparation, so I think we're ready.
Yeah, definitely excited to get back out there. It's been a while. After a tough loss last year, just ready to turn things around and try to make it back.
This year would be what, the 12th year in a row, I believe. It's like 11th, 12th, or 13th year in a row.
Yes.
What is that winning streak? That winning streak being on the line. What does that mean to you guys?
I'd say it's definitely important. You can look back and see that we've won for a while, but this is a different team for both of us, and we just really got to stay focused and play fast and disciplined. That's our words of the week.
Just stay focused. We don't really let the past dictate what we're going to be doing. So tomorrow night's just going to be like any other game. No matter the record we had, I think we're just going to go out there and perform.
Okay, with tomorrow's game being at the Dome, we have our first 3 or 4 home games at the Dome. What is that? How is that different? What do you guys do to prepare differently from being at the Dome compared to being at Memorial?
Well, the big difference we've found out is that the Unidome's real hot and it's real echoey. So, practice has been real loud and real sweaty. We've just been preparing for it, trying to, simulate the environment we're going to be in.
Yeah, Coach Moore likes to turn the music up real loud because he told us it's going to be really loud in there. So I think we've done a good job trying to prepare for that.
Even homecoming at the Dome, do you think that'll be different? Do you guys feel like you have more riding on your back being at the Dome, especially for a big game like homecoming?
I don't know. It's just a different environment. I feel like it's a sick environment because most people don't go to the Dome to the end of the season, and we're lucky enough to start there. I think it'll just be fun. It'll be a big crowd, hopefully a big show out, and all that stand room. We'll have no problems getting everybody in there.
Talking about the crowd, what is the student section? Last few years we've had pretty decent student section, so we're looking to have a bigger crowd this year, especially students. How does the student section play into your guys' games?
I would say it's definitely a big part, like having the crowd there and just cheering you on. It's for sure a big help, like distract the other team. It really helps us, I'd say.
And we're not west without our student section. I think that's a big part of us. Going from our outs, tomorrow Friday will be a white out. So just seeing everybody dressed up the same as us, just makes us feel special almost, having everyone out there to support us. And, just like almost gives you something to do it for. And it's always good to hear the crowd, scream after a touchdown or a good play. Always feels nice.
Being an away team, how do student sections impact the away team to where it would influence West High students to get out there to try and impact the away team?
It's just a homey experience, with everyone that there and your fellow students and even the younger people. It just feels good, and I think student section is probably one of the best places to be at a football game, besides being on the field, of course. You get to experience it, you get to be with your friends, and you get to watch some good football.
Yeah, I'd say when I wasn't on varsity yet, it was always a good experience to be in the student section and watch the games. With your friends, just watch and enjoy football.
Tucker, last year you ended up being 6th in sack returners this year. Hickey, you were in 7th. He beat you by half a sack?
Half a sack.
I think it was. So you guys had 9.5 sacks combined last year. What are you guys expected totals do you think would be this year? Or what are you hoping for?
I know definitely both of us, I could say, probably just trying to one up what we had last year. But, the D-line is definitely going to be a good group this year. We're bringing a lot of guys back. I'm really just excited to see what we can do.
Like Tuck said, yeah, we're looking for improvement. I'm not happy with just 7th. And of course I want to beat Tucker. So I feel like there's a little bit of competition, unspoken, but of course just getting better. And like Tuck said, we have a full return in D-line, and I just think we're going to have a lot of pressure this year.
Sounds great. So last year, team 18 sacks. Outside of you guys, do you think you guys are able to beat 18 team sacks last year?
Of course. Like we said, a full return in D-line, interior guys, Big Rig, White Knight, just in there messing things up. And I just think, we're going to have a real productive year.
Tuck, you also play wide receiver. How does balancing D-end and wide receiver play into your weekly basis, meaning like the team meetings or your pregame workouts? How does that influence what you do?
It can definitely get tough sometimes, staying on the field the whole time. But, I enjoy the challenge, like all the meetings and stuff. I mean, everyone else is doing the same thing. So, I'm just excited for the challenge to see what we can do.
You also play D tackle, so you're a big defensive guy. How does your D end and D tackle groups go into each other? Do they work a lot together, or are you pretty separate?
Of course, you can't have a D line without your D tackle and your D ends. I feel like playing both ways. I get to see more. I get to, just almost just feel more free. I get to move around, and I also feel like I'm held to a higher expectation. Having to play 2 positions, especially in Tuck's position. It's harder. You got to know more. You have to be more sound in your technique. Maybe D tackle isn't as sound as receiver, but still work.
Yeah, last year was a great group. This year we got a new quarterback. Last year you guys made it to state, lost in the first round, unfortunately. So what do you guys have in your season expectations for this upcoming year?
I would say like last year definitely puts a bit of a chip on your shoulder. Makes you want to come back and get back to that same spot and hopefully look for a different outcome.
Like Tuck said, we just want to improve. We want to go farther than that. Of course, that's always the goal. Like Moore says, play 14. That's our goal. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah. All right. That is all that we have today, guys. I want to give a big shout out to Tucker Satterley and Malachi Hickey, the DN duo. Thank you for your guys' time, and go Hawks.